Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Naked Killer, a Hong Kong thriller action film from 1992 that earned a Category 3 rating by the Hong Kong Motion Picture Rating System. Now, I've already covered a variety of Cat 3 films on this channel, both in separate review videos as well as my Asian horror playlist. In the West, we refer to Cat 3 as not only a rating designation but also a subgenre of film, because we expect certain things out of a Cat 3 movie, specifically graphic violence and or excessive nudity. Now, Naked Killer stars Chingmy Yau as a vicious young woman who has no problems murdering evil people, mostly men. She eventually gets involved with some other women who are also eager to deal out some bloody justice. Meanwhile, Simon Yam, my man, the dude's awesome. He's a cop who's undergoing a rather traumatic period in his life. He accidentally shot someone, and now he vomits every time he holds his gun in his hand. You know, that's what we got going on here. Of course, he must investigate the murders perpetuated by Chingmy, but he becomes infatuated by her beauty. Now, this is basically like a trashier version of Basic Instinct, Category 3 style. So the opening credits are very stylish, nicely shot, lots of red imagery, both in terms of font, as well as the silky cloth that's draped over naked women. There's some brief, sultry kissing, as well as a shot of a naked woman killing someone with a knife. During the first scene of the actual film, we get some urban locations and our lady protagonist in an all-red outfit as she goes up to a hotel room. And she blasts some music, some rather odd music, I would say, and then proceeds to assassinate a man. She even uses some barbells, like what you work out with. She takes some barbells and uses it to beat him up, and it's quite violent. It's a pretty solid opening scene. It's pretty fun stuff. A little while later, we get a pretty sweet girls with guns style shootout in a parking lot against some bodyguards. It's violent and energetic. I mean, 30 minutes into this film, you're shoving popcorn in your mouth, thinking this is going to be like an exploitation classic. You know what I mean? But I have to emphasize this. At this point, you will need to readjust your expectations at the 30-minute mark. Readjust your expectations. Because the first few times I saw Naked Killer, back in the day, I was not that big of a fan of it. And the reason is because the opening 30 minutes are better than the rest of the film. And they also give the impression that it's going to be like an all-out action flick when it actually is not. In fact, there are practically no action set pieces for the entire middle section. And none of the action during the finale is quite as good as that parking lot shootout. It practically transitions to like an investigation thriller, like Basic Instinct, like an erotic thriller, instead of an action movie for much of the middle part of the film. Back in the day, this had a significantly negative impact on how I looked at this film. All right, it was a detriment to my enjoyment. Now, during a more recent viewing over the past week, I did enjoy the non-action moments and elements more than I had previously. So let's get into this here. If you want to analyze the script writing in this exploitation film, you're going to find some holes. For example, Simon Yam meets our female assassin by chance. Like, he's not even, like, investigating her. They just so happen to go to the same place. You know what I mean? And Chingmy stabs some dude in the balls because he was harassing a woman. So Simon Yam pursues her, and she kind of gets away. But they end up befriending one another, because this is what happens, you know what I mean, in real life. A cop would befriend, a criminal who stabbed a dude in the nuts. But it's Category 3 film, so who cares? You know, it's not good script writing, but in this case, it really doesn't matter. We do get some playful, flirty interaction between our leads, which I did enjoy. I did enjoy the character interaction in this film. I mean, Chingmy Yau is quite fetching, as I like to say, and it's easy to understand why she was such a sex symbol in Hong Kong during this period back in the day. And then Simon Yam's presence always helps. And in typical Category 3 fashion, there's plenty of inappropriate dialogue in this. But it's a hoot to watch. If you're into that kind of humor, like this script, it would get shot down immediately nowadays in 2021. It would be. And most of the people involved would be blacklisted from the industry. But This is back in the heyday of Cat 3, so anything goes. So I kind of like that. Now, outside of the absurdist dialogue, there's some other stuff that's pretty good here. Outside of the action, we get very colorful apartment of this older lady assassin that Chingmy meets. And there's a really disgusting scene involving a piece of sausage during a cop, I guess, investigation sequence. That one's pretty odd, but I kind of liked it. There's a few weirdly erotic dream sequences, some scenes involving evil men who are imprisoned in an apartment for horrible crimes, and these lady assassins use these men as practice for their death games and stuff. So it's pretty good. So and also, of course, sex appeal is used as a weapon in this film, of course. And despite the lack of a significant action set piece during most of the middle section, there is some violence in the form of some quick and bloody assassinations. Thankfully, the finale of the film does contribute 2 action scenes that are a mix of fighting and shootouts. They're pretty good. Nothing really that memorable, though, I gotta say. And nothing as good as that parking lot shootout, as I mentioned before. So overall, in a nutshell, Naked Killer, it's not a film that I would personally classify as a Category 3 classic. And that's kind of a controversial opinion, because a lot of people hold this one up on that Mount Rushmore of the best of Category 3. I don't really hold it that high. I think it's a level below a lot of my favorites. There are a number of other films that I think do things better than this movie. Riki-Oh is a better action comedy gore fest. Run and Kill is a more intense thriller. Red to Kill is far more offensive. School on Fire is a better drama. And A Chinese Torture Chamber Story is a better sex comedy, for example. So Naked Killer is not on the same level as those, in my opinion, in terms of pure entertainment value. However, it does have enough to satisfy. I seem to enjoy this one more nowadays than I did previously, and so I recommend it. I do think this is a fun movie. Most fans of this subgenre will be satisfied with this, and most people like this more than I do, so check it out. It is, if you're exploring Category 3 films per se, it's still a must-watch, even if I don't classify it super high. So, Naked Killer is currently available on physical media. Again, I'm not sure about a streaming option. You'll try to want to make sure to find the uncut version. Every Category 3 film you want to watch uncut, so try to make sure you do that. And as always, I will see you next time.